Oh, I might get roasted for this one for sure. Hey guys, what is going on? It is me, Punkig Yoshi or Alberto. Welcome back to the video. My background may seem weird because you're used to seeing me on my desk, but this is another position that I have used in another video. So this is a callback to the Harley Quinn video, and if you guys haven't seen that one, you guys should go watch that video. It was a really good one. And plus, this is a pretty comfortable spot. I'm chilling on my beanbag chair. And recently I just upgraded my beanbag chair. I got a love sack. It's for love making and it's really comfortable. But today we'll be discussing probably the most controversial topic on this channel so far. Most of you guys know what it is. You guys already read the title, but today we are going to be discussing anime dub and if it's good or if it's bad. We will try to go about this in the most unbiased way possible. And that's coming from someone that watches his animes mostly in dub. Have seen a select few in sub, I get flamed on. The reason why I'm making this video is because I get flamed on by all of my friends every single day because I am a dub watcher and I have watched dub only for the past 9 years of my life. I'm sure you guys already know, but anime usually comes in multiple languages. The first original recording is in Japanese, and Japan sometimes dubs over the Japanese original audio with other languages and then releases into the world. Anime is notoriously bad at doing this because they take forever, which brings me to today. We are going to be doing an experiment in the traditional American science fair way with a hypothesis, a procedure, materials, and results and everything. We are going to try to give both sides a fair shot and genuinely decide which one is the best way to watch anime. There are times in anime when it comes out weekly where it can take months or even years for the dub to show up, and that can be a plethora of reasons which we'll get into. But to justify the reasoning why I watch anime dub rather than sub is because I genuinely think I have a better experience watching something in my own language. And this has come from someone who has watched plethora of movies growing up in Spanish. I watched Harry Potter in Spanish, I watched Shrek in Spanish, I watched so many shows in Spanish, and to me that was my primary language, so I was used to it. And by the time I grew up, I don't watch stuff in Spanish anymore, but now I watch everything in English. From someone that loves animation, I love to see every single pixel of animation while I'm watching a show, which is why the captioning may be a little distracting. It's the same reason why they don't have subtitles in a movie theater, or they don't have subtitles when the audio is so clear that you don't need it. Obviously, to combat this, sub watchers would say, hey, I'm watching this in a language that I don't know, obviously, so I'm gonna have English subtitles. And I've had friends tell me that they read it so fast where they read it before and have time to look around. And that obviously makes sense. As your eyes get trained, you are going to be reading faster and seeing the images faster. But for me, I won't be noticing all the details from the corner of the screen when I am reading the subtitles. And to me, as an artist, that is more important, to be able to see the full picture of that someone painted and slash animated over reading, which if I wanted to read, I would have, grabbed the book myself. So that's my justification. That being said, I'm not totally against sub. I do watch sometimes sub, mostly when shows are coming out weekly, mostly when I don't want to wait 10 million years for the dub to come out. So I just, bite the bullet and I watch it in sub, and most of the time it's a really enjoyable experience, but I do like to go back and watch it in dub because then I like to see the difference usually. But that's what this video is all about. I'm going to finally, once and for all, going to find out if dub is really that bad. For some people, it's like the most atrocious thing that spawned from hell, and for some people like me, it's this thing that they watch normally. But before I do start the experiment, I do want to say that this all does come down to personal preference, and at the end of the day, if you like to watch it in sub or dub, what you prefer really does matter. And that if that's the way that you want to watch it, you shouldn't let other people's opinions drown you down from something that you love. So if you genuinely do love sub and you genuinely do love dub, that's great. You should run with that and watch it in whatever way you find it best for you. That being said, I will finally crack down on this because I am sick and tired of hearing that dub is horrible, or maybe I am going to be proven wrong and dub will actually be really bad and sub is like obviously the superior version. So we're going to go ahead and start the experiment once and for all. The experiment today is dub really that bad? My personal hypothesis is, based on my educated guess, sub writers are straight bugging and dub gets a bad rep for trying to provide a decent service. I genuinely believe For today's materials, we will be using a mentally ill person's mind, a computer, and Google Docs. That is all we're using today. And I guess Crunchyroll. So if you guys haven't subscribed to Crunchyroll, go use Crunchyroll. I think I use Hulu for a couple of them too. So for my background today, English native speakers have been ridiculed by the anime community for listening to anime in the English language. Most people would quickly point out that sub is better, whether that be because of raw emotion or general bias. We are here to learn about all of that. Alright, let's start the experiment. For this, I'm going to go back to my usually scheduled programming, and we'll come back here at the end of it with the results and the conclusion. And now we're back to where you guys are used to seeing me. So to further explain today's experiment, I will be talking about the procedure. So we're going to separate animes into 5 different groups. That being dub being notoriously good, which will have 4 different examples. Dub being notoriously bad, which will have 4 examples as well. The control group, which is going to be random. AAA projects and indie projects will also have their own category, because I think it's important to consider the budget of the animes when creating the dub. Now, as to how I found that the control group, pretty much what I did was I went on this site right here, randomanime.org, and I clicked these links right here. I put Crunchyroll. I didn't put Hulu or Funimation or Netflix or High Dive. I don't have Netflix. I didn't put Hulu for some reason, and I don't have these two. And then I generated a random list, and then I kept scrolling until I found an anime that I knew something a little, or at least a little bit about, just because I didn't want to use an anime that I didn't know anything about, like not even a single smidgen of information, like this one right here. I don't know what the hell this is, and I wouldn't be able to judge it fairly if I don't know anything about it. So even if it was just like a small TikTok short that I saw, or I know of a character, that's enough for me to watch that anime for this experiment. And for the control group, I went on season 1, episode 5, around 5 minutes of each one of the shows. Just random. I tried to be as random as possible. I hope that's okay with the control group. And that's how I found that control group. That being said, I did run into a little hiccup, because when I went to random anime, I didn't realize that you had to filter audio. And some of the animes that I chose only had Japanese audio, which is a big L in my opinion. Them not providing the service limits some people from watching the show, which is kind of like me. If a show was only in sub, it would limit me from watching the show. Right now, one of the shows that I fall into this category is Bocchi the Rock. I am watching it, but it's only in sub. But I was like, I told my friend, because he made me watch the first episode, if the first episode doesn't grab me enough, then I will not watch the rest of the show. And that's something that I would not consider if it was in English, because if it was English, I'd give it more leniency. That's just me though, because I am very picky about my subs. Also, I want to note that when I was looking for dub being notoriously bad section of this video, I had a really, really hard time finding specific examples of dub being bad. Everyone spews out on the internet that dub is horrible, this and that, yada yada, but no one talks about specific examples of dub being bad. And I tried to refrain from using specific characters and voice actors, because 1, I don't want to put that negativeness out there, and 2, because I don't think that's an accurate representation of what the dub is capable of. I did fall into that little rabbit hole, and I did use it for 2 of them. We'll get to that, but for the most part, I tried not to use specific characters for dub being notoriously bad. If you're watching this, I want you guys to write down in the comments an episode or a time or something where dub is really bad, because like it was so hard to find that on the internet, and just that alone should tell you a lot. And without further ado, we're gonna start with our first anime. And first up is AOT's Irwin's speech.
The anguished fallen! Their lives have meaning because we, the living, refuse to forget them! And as we ride to certain death, we trust our successors to do the same for us! Because my soldiers do not buckle or yield when faced with the cruelty of this world! My soldiers push forward! My soldiers scream out! My soldiers rage! あの勇敢な死者を、哀れな死者を思うことができるのは聖者である我々だ。我々はここで死に、次の聖者に意味を託す。それこそ唯一この残酷な世界に抗う術なのだ。兵士を怒れ、兵士を叫べ、兵士を戦え。
Now for this example, I think this is a great example of dub being outstanding. just because Erwin himself, he has a lot of emotion in his voice. You can hear the passion in his voice, and he's going to do this war, and he's giving the speech. And I think it's just a great example. At the end there, I like the last couple of words, the "My soldiers don't buckle or yield, my soldiers rage." I think that's really, really well said. I have around the same words to say about the sub. It was really good, well said. I think the build up was the same, on par with the English one. I think the English one overtakes it a little bit at the end there with those last couple of words. He kind of like quieted down a little bit, but either way, they were both really good. I'd give English dub an S tier and Japanese sub an A tier for sure. Next on the list is Naruto, specifically Tobi's introduction.
Sasuke triumphed in the battle. Itachi Uchiha is now dead.
What? I don't believe it! Kidding.
It's just as I expected.
What? Sasuke killed him? He killed Itachi?
Sasuke is down right now too. So what's next? I think he's in pretty bad shape.
I think Toby slash I don't want to say his name. I don't know if anyone has this little spoiler. Slash the M guys. I think Toby's voice actor is really good. I think the deepness and the raspiness of his voice really provides a really strong villain voice that we hear throughout the rest of the show. I think this is peak, and I don't think dub gets any better than this. Even Naruto and Sakura sound fine. So let's see what sub has to offer.
サスケの勝ちだよ。ウチハイたちは死亡。
信じられないなんてね。
思った通りだ。
サスケくんがイタチを。
サスケも倒れちゃったけど、どうだろう。結構ギリギリかも。
I'm just gonna play it and say it. I think dub is better here. I think Toby's voice sounds so much better in dub. But I will say, I think hearing Sakura and Naruto, I think Sakura sounds better in sub. I think dub is on par with sub with Naruto. But without a doubt, I think Toby takes the cake here in dub. Like, I'm giving Naruto here an S tier, and for this specific scene, not in the whole entire anime, but for this scene, I'm giving Naruto dub an S tier, and Japanese sub a B tier. Next up is Goku. This is a scene that I found people glazing on TikTok that was really good dub, so we're gonna listen to it dub.
I will not let you destroy my world!
Right off the bat, that was really good. I did watch the original Dragon Ball in English dub, and I liked it. I watched Zikai in dub, and it was really good. And this is Dragon Ball Super. I haven't seen Super yet, but it sounds really good. He obviously, the emotion in his voice, "I will not let you destroy my world," sounds really good. And then the music at the end was awesome, but that's just on the side. When it comes to like shows like this where it's like screaming porn, I think it's important to like have good screams because like you want your ears to tickle a little bit, and I think that the ears tickled really good for this one. So let's see what sub has.
破壊を楽しんでんじゃねえぞ
What the fuck? What the? Yo, y'all hear that? No way. No way. Did Goku just say the N word? What the hell? No, that's insane. Hold on, we have to run that back. There's no way that's real. Yo, Japanese Goku racist, dude. What the hell? Alright. That's crazy. Alright, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not even gonna keep going. I'm giving that like a D. That was horrible. I don't think Goku sounds good in Japanese sub, but he sounds so much better in dub. That's just me. I don't know if this is my opinion, but that was like night and day for me right there. S tier dub or A tier dub and D tier sub right there. One, I don't know, that was a lot. The last one in this category is Death Note.
Now everything that was in my way is gone, and everyone else still believes in me. It's only a matter of time before I get rid of the police. What do you think of that, Elle? This is my perfect victory! That's right! I win!
So besides that being a really popular TikTok sound, I think that was really good. Light Yagami, again, I'm sounding like a broken record. Expression's great. That was good. You can hear the insanity in his voice. I think that's peak. Let's hear a sub.
これで邪魔者は全て消えた。他の者は僕を信じきっている。警察を支配するのも時間の問題だ。どうだ、エル。完全に僕の勝ちだ。僕の勝ちだ。
No, that's not even comparable. That's a night and day difference. Dub gets S tier, S or A. Sub gets like a D. That was C. C for decent enough. I don't know. That was I can't justify the sub there. All right, now we'll move on to dub being notoriously bad. This is the part where I think the bulk of y'all are gonna have the most fun. So we have My Hero Academia first up, and again for this one, I was told that My Hero Academia is a horrible dub, but there was no examples online of this. No one had a specific scene, so we just chose a random scene, and this is what we're gonna do because of y'all incompetence. This is what happens. And for this one, we'll give sub first because they're on the advantage here.
オール・フォー・ワンが関係してんじゃねえのか。ワン・フォー・オール。もともとあいつから派生して出来上がったんだろ。複数個性の所持。なるほど。あいつと同じじゃねえか。
言いたくなかったこと。
Okay, yeah, that was good. I think I can't really say nothing bad there. The sub just sounded amazing.
But now's the time, so maybe there's something going on in the world that's making this happen?
If that's true, could it have something to do with All for One? This passed on ability originally came from him, right? And think about it. He has control over multiple quirks. I see it now. You're basically the same as him.
That's something I've thought but didn't want to say.
I think the guy with the white hair sounds good in both. I think the guy with All Might, I think his name is. I think All Might sounds better in sub, and I think Deku also sounds better in sub. He sounds like a little wimp in dub. So I'll give sub the benefit of that because Deku does sound better. Instead of sounding like Deku, he sounds like a normal human being. So we'll give sub here. We'll give sub a tier, and we'll give dub a C plus because I don't think it's bad, and I think that it's definitely watchable, and I think you could go the whole series by watching it. I think it's just Deku's annoying ass voice that like really drags him down a little bit. Next up on the list is Fire Force, and we'll start with the sub first because we're giving them the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, that sounded cool. I have no comment. It just sounds badass. So we'll give that a. We'll rate it after, but we'll hear the dub first.
They say I'm a midnight thinker, yeah. A smoker, yeah. A joker, yeah.
Yeah, that one was pretty clear. I think sub takes the cake there. It sounds so much cooler. He sounds more badass. In the English, he's like, "I'm a smoker, yeah." He sounds like a dumbass. And then in the sub, he sounds really cool. So I'll give sub 9.5 out of 10. Sorry, I'm not doing it. What am I doing? Ratings? What the fuck? It was A. So I'm giving sub a S tier, and I'm giving dub a C. They're getting C tier for that one. Our next one is Dr. Stone.
アホほど特納のジャスミンティーを煮込んだ肉料理にかけるだけだ。腐った貝をジャスミンの花で包んで温めるだけで。手に入らなくていいよそんなもの。お尻から出るよ普通に。香りだけだ。とどめにおまけで程よくへっぽい硫黄の香りもプレゼントな。便利ねラボ。
Well, not considering what the fuck we were just watching, because I don't know what the hell that was. Then we're talking about poop and shit, but the acting was decent. I didn't see anything special. Let's see what Dub has.
Or rather, we're gonna be making the smell of poo. Just pour some stupidly strong jasmine tea on whatever kind of cooked meat you have on hand. In our case, we'll warm up some rotten clams wrapped in jasmine petals.
Why do we need to acquire that anyway? That's something we can get from our butts!
It's just the smell. We'll throw in some sulfur too. I mean, why not give him a nice juicy fart as a bonus?
This lab can make anything.
It just sounded a little zesty at the end. I don't know about this one. I'm gonna give it like sub an A. I'm gonna give sub a B and dub a C, because like it wasn't anything special. It didn't wow me, and this was the character that people said was really bad in dub, and I took that with a grain of salt, and he sounded weird, but he didn't sound bad, so we'll give him a C. The last one today for the dub being notoriously bad is gonna be Hunter x Hunter. So raw emotions there, quality's there. That was amazing. Remember we talked about the scream porn? I think scream porn was really good here, and Gon was that he did the scream really well. That I don't know. That's an S so far. That's straight up perfect. Now let's hear the dub.
No fair! It's not fair, damn it! Why are you helping her anyway? After all the things that you did to my friend Kite! Gong! Why? I want you to tell me!
Alright, there I think it was really clear. Sub was better. Dub didn't have quite the emotion, and his payoff wasn't as grand as the sub was. So we're gonna give dub a B minus or a C plus. They can go B minus though, because it wasn't bad, but it wasn't sub, and sub was S for sure. So those were our dub being good and bad. Now we're moving on to our control group, which is starts with Shangri-La Frontier, I think.
なんだ今の魔法か。
良い当たり出ましたわ。
そうだった。すっかりソロプレイの頭になっちまってたが、今は仲間がいるんだ。俺より強い NPC に頼るってのはゲーマーとして思うところもあるが、せっかく作ってくれたこのチャンス無駄にはしない。行くぞエムレ。ひるんでる間にアクセルで距離を詰める。
I think that was really good. I don't have much to say about it. Let's see what the dub. Let's see if it's any different, so I can notice a difference between them.
How'd you do that? Magic?
Of course it was. Real magic.
Typical me. I've been so laser focused on soloing every challenge that I forgot I had a partner. I'm not wild about relying on a stronger party member to fight my battles, especially an NPC.
but she went through the trouble to get me an opening, and I'm not gonna waste it. Let's go, Emil. We'll close the gap with Excel while he's down.
I think they were both pretty good. I think they're on par with each other, so I'm going to give both of them an A. And the next one's going to be Toradora. So we'll move on to Toradora as our second control group.
そう今これ見てたんですよそれで
やだ恥ずかしいとこ見られちゃった服もメイクももっとちゃんとしてくればよかったなお仕事ない時はつい気を抜いちゃって
いや全然そんなことせっかくだし4人で話さないかいいだろアミ
もちろん
That was solid. I could see myself watching it like that, you know, so that was good. Let's see what the dub has.
Oh, yeah, we were just sort of looking through this, and we sort of...
This is so embarrassing. I should have spent more time on my makeup and picking out better clothes. When I'm not working, I tend to slack off.
No, you look great. I mean, well, you look neat. Since we're all here, do you mind if we join you? Is that okay, Ami?
Of course.
I think they're both solid here. I don't know if I'm tripping. I'm gonna give them both A tier. I think they're good. I have an issue with the sub or the dub. I see myself listening to either one. So the next lab subject is Mob Psycho 100.
I started working out. I'm gonna improve myself.
You say that, but...
How'd you like that? A telekinetic tackle with all my weight behind it! You've been given psychic powers but choose not to use them? How stupid! There's no reason to live your life stooping to the level of average people!
I don't know. I think that one was fine. I think it was really average. I think the acting was decent. So we'll move on to sub.
どれだって始めたし僕は変わるんだ
変わるったってお前。
今度はどうだ全体重を乗せた粘土タックルだ超能力を使わない生き方だとバカだなわざわざ凡人どもに合わせて生きる必要なんてないのに
Okay, so I think for this specific example, I think they're very on par with each other, but I think the sub is a little better here. Just because that one villain dude sounds a little bit more menacing, but not by much. So I'm gonna do B for dub and then B plus for sub. Just because it was like one character difference, so it doesn't get much. It's gonna be Tokyo Ghoul, but originally I had Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? I thought it would have been fun, but it doesn't have a dub. And then I tried another one called Tonari no Yukai-san, and that's another fail. It had no dub, only sub. So those two examples of animes that could have made it to the video, but didn't because they have no dub. Last but not least, we have Tokyo Ghoul. And we'll start with the sub first. I'll consider that good acting. Let's see what the dub has to offer.
What should I do?
Okay, I don't know about this one. To be honest, he sounded like he was moaning a little bit. That was totally different interpretations from the sub. I'll still give it a decent score, but I think sub is for sure better on this one. I think sub gets an A, and then dub gets probably like a B minus to a C plus, somewhere around there. And that's our control groups for today. So we're going to move on to our AAA projects. So these are projects that obviously have way more budget and they're able to splurge a little bit. So you would expect them to have better acting. So I'd hope. First up is JJK.
There'd be no second time.
There is no one in this world more proud and conceited. He lives guided by only his own pleasure and displeasure.
Whether you die or you die doesn't matter to me.
Okay. I think Sukuna sounds really good in dub. I think all the characters sound good in dub. And I've watched JJK in dub and sub. I watched season 1 in dub, and then season 2 is coming out weekly, so I had to watch it in sub. So I'll give, I don't know, that's really good though. I think I don't see sub being that much different. We'll see how it is.
二度はないと。天上天下唯我独尊。己の快不快のみが生きる指針。お前が死のうと、お前が死のうと、どうでもいい。
I'm a little disappointed in Sukuna's voice in sub, but I do think that the dub Sukuna is better. So I'll give dub S and then sub like a B plus. Just because I think Sukuna doesn't make that much of a difference because of how good he sounds in the scene. And then all the characters there, I think it was just Nanami that was speaking. He sounded fine. So still really good acting though. The next one is One Punch Man.
分かってるんだ。俺じゃ B 級で通用しない。自分が弱いってことはちゃんと分かってるんだ。俺がお前に勝てないなんてことは俺が一番よく分かってるんだよ。
なーにボソボソほざいてるの。命乞い。
それでもやるしかないんだ。勝てる勝てないじゃなく、ここで俺はお前に立ち向かわなくちゃいけないんだ。
That was good. That was good. Great emotion. Can the dub top that though? That's the question.
I know that better than anyone. I'm too weak for Class B. I'm not good enough. I know that much. I'm aware that I have no chance of beating you. No one needs to tell me anything like that!
What are you babbling on and on about? Begging for your life?
And yet, I must try. It's not about winning or losing! It's about me taking you on right here and right now!
I like that. I like that a little bit better than the sub. Because of his last couple words. You could hear it in his voice. The pain and suffering. I'll give dub S sub A for sure, because A was still amazing. Next AAA project is Demon Slayer, and we started with sub, so we'll start with dub here. And this is the one that my friend roasted me on. I think the scene. So we're gonna see if he was accurate or not. Let's see if he's accurate. He sounds insane. He sounds like a crazy person. I don't think he sounds horrible. Okay, so we'll see what the dub is and how different it is, but for now it's gonna be pretty decent. He still sounds like an insane little gremlin. I do see a little bit of a difference, but he sounds the same. I'm gonna give them both B tier because his character himself, he sounds like a freaking weirdo. Tanjiro, like I've seen it in dub, I've seen it also in sub. I think they both work, Tanjiro and Zenitsu and the rest of them. We'll give them both B tiers in the scene for sure though. The last AAA project it is gonna be Code Geass.
これは残った問題が自ら出てきてくれたと。
I think it sounded good. I think all the characters played their part. It was mostly the main character talking and he sounded good, so we'll just check the other one for reference.
Anomalies Knight has already been chosen. That leaves only
What's he doing here?
well, how convenient. The one problem left to contend with has come here on his own.
I don't see an issue with that. It sounded fine to me. If you have an issue with that, I think it's just you just hate English people, because that sounded fine to me. We'll give that one. We'll give them both A's. They both deserve A's there. And now we're gonna move on to indie projects. And this first one is a special one because it is known that it had very low budget, and that's the reason why it sounds this way.
Time は0.2秒縮まりました。
Think of a big black man chasing you!
Well, he's not racist. I guess not. He's only 0.2 seconds faster.
Ghost Story is a specific example of a creative team that was able to do whatever the hell they wanted, and honestly, it works pretty well. I like it. It's funny. It's a different example, but it is an example of money being a really big factor into the dubbing. So I love this scene.
A police station! Thank God! I never thought I'd be happy to see one of those things. Hey, put the donuts down! Drop the Krispy Kreme, Serpico! We need your help
These people in
here!
my house look like my father and my brother after 9 months or something.
Yeah, boogity, diggity, 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 diggity,
I see.
That is so good. That's so good. That deserves to be in the history books because that's amazing. Nothing really to say here other than the dub gets an S and the sub probably gets like a C because like the dub is obviously better here. This is an example of dub being really good. I think the second indie project is probably one of my favorite animes of all time, and I chose it slightly biased just because I love the show. But I wanted to actually see the difference between sub and dub because I've seen it in dub. We'll do dub first, and then we'll watch it in sub after.
You thought I wouldn't notice it, didn't you? I know your scent very well. You have boy parts! This is Ilulu's work, isn't it? I'm sorry, Miss Kobayashi. I'll get you back to normal soon. But not just yet. I'm not gonna throw away this opportunity. Our hearts have become intimate, now we can add our bodies.
If you want to see the rest of it, you have to see it for yourself. This is it's a great let's just say it's a great anime. But for in terms of dub, the dub I thought was really good in this show. Specifically, I thought all the dragons and the main actress and they were all just really good. Even the side characters had really good voice acting. I'm interested to see how the sub is. Let's hear the sub.
途中から気づいてましたよ。小林さんは今、あれがついている。イルルにやられたんですね。かわいそうな小林さん。トールが直してあげます。でもその前にチャンスを生かすトールです。心と心でつながった後は体ですよ。
So for this case, I think it's really interesting because I was reading the subtitles more than I was really listening to the audio, and the interpretation is different. I think that happens a lot in anime where the interpretation is different. That's so crazy because it's more direct in English, and in Japanese it's less direct for sure. But the both acting was good. I didn't really hear Kobayashi talk too much. I'll give them both A just because Toru does sound good in both, but I'm pretty sure they're both the same, so I'm gonna give them both A tier. This next show I haven't heard of that much, but I wanted to do one that was like kind of like Reincarnated as a Slime. But Reincarnated as a Slime has way too much budget, I think, so we're gonna choose that one time I got reincarnated with my smartphone or something like that. So
なんだあのスライム。
調べてみます。ローションスライム。危険を察知すると潤滑油のような体液を分泌する。人体に害はない。失敗作。
that sounded really casual. Let's hear the dub.
From those things, but whoa! Ow! What the heck? Ew! What is this stuff? Why is it so slimy? We're surrounded.
What kind of slimes are those?
I'll look it up. Lotion slimes. When in danger, their bodies secrete a vicious lubricating fluid. Though it feels rather nice on the skin. Still a failure.
Sounds similar. The guy kind of sounds like a nerd in the dub though. I'm gonna give dub B and then sub B plus, just because I think it was a little bit better. Not by much, but just a little bit. The last anime for today will be the Apothecary Diaries, which I've never heard of, but it is one of our indie projects that we have. And we started with sub, so we'll start with dub.
How was Concubines Gyokyo and Lishu's tea party?
I did find it suspicious how such a large-scale event happened so quickly. Figures it was his idea. Everyone that was present had an enjoyable time.
I am far from being done with you.
Funny, I'm more than done with you.
It sounded good. Let's see the sub so I can talk about it more.
急にリーシュ様を呼んでお茶会なんて変だと思ったら、こいつの差し金か。楽しく過ごされていましたよ。
話は終わってないんだが。
話していただけませんか。
I think in the dub he sounds a little more masculine and she sounds a little bit more feminine, and it's opposite in the sub. But other than that, I think the acting was the same, and I don't think that they were that much different. So I'm gonna give them both A tier just because of that. And that would conclude this one. So let me go ahead and hop back over here, and then we'll give our final thoughts. That was a lot. After seeing like an hour's worth of anime content, I can confidently say that I don't think there's that much of a difference between sub and dub. Although I think that there's specific examples where sub is better, but I don't think that justifies all the hate that dub gets. I think dub gets a flack for being worse than sub, but I don't think that if you're an English speaker, you have to watch sub in order for you to have a good time. That being said, I think there's some examples where sub is better. I just really want to know those shows because from what I've seen on the internet and from what I just saw today, there aren't many examples of sub being that much different enough in order for me to justify that switch. There was a lot of times where I was ranking them A's and B's or S and B's. There's a couple times where there was S and C's, but for the most part they were very similar and I didn't hear that much of a difference between them. I have a friend who watches most of his anime in English sub but grew up in Mexico and would watch it in dub. And I think a big part of why some of these sound so good is because of nostalgia. And the people that have listened to anime their whole life in Japanese are a little nostalgic to the sound of Japanese words being said in their respective story. And the same goes with the dub community. The dub community is so used to hearing the words of their characters come out in the English language that they sometimes don't even give sub a chance. And for someone that gives sub like a really hard time in order for me to really get into it, I think it's an important lesson that I learned today that they're not so different after all. I think personally, if I am going to sit down and eat something, I'm probably going to put it in dub. But if I have the time to just focus on anime itself and not have it on the side or anything, I think I might consider doing sub from now and then. And also like not give Bocchi the Rock or all of these shows that don't have dubs that much of a hard time. I remember when my friends wanted me to watch That Devil is a Part-Timer, I didn't watch it initially because the dub wasn't out and that was a really big deal breaker for me. And that's so limiting. I think that limits you from the possibility of a really good story. So TLDR, I don't think they're that different from each other for the hate to be so justified on the internet. Although I do think there's some instances where sub is better than dub, I don't think that that's the general consensus for most of the shows. We also have to keep in mind that a lot of the dub voice actors usually are the same people, and that's why a lot of their voices do carry over to other shows. And if you genuinely dislike a certain voice actor, that might be tough for dub because there is a good chance that you're going to hear their voice once again in a different project. That being said, in order to like do the research and hunt over which voice actors you don't like seems like a really big amount of work. And I don't think that the general consensus of people would want to do that. So overall, I think that everyone should watch whatever they feel comfortable with. And my hypothesis was half right, half wrong. I don't think that the sub people are necessarily out to get the dub people, but I do think that the dub has enough merit for people to actually grow a fan base off of it. And if anyone were to like judge you personally on if you like dub or sub, I think that just showcases their integrity and their personality. I think that shows their own insecurities more than anything because they can't fathom the fact that you can enjoy something that you love in a different way than they can. And that's just not right. I think everyone should just be able to watch whatever they want whenever they want. But overall, I learned a couple of vital lessons today. I learned that Goku is a little racist and that dub isn't as bad as people say, although there are instances where dub can be a little bad. I know that Squid Game is a perfect example. With every Squid Game, there's also Casa de Papel, or Money Heist, or there's really good dubbing out there that you just haven't put your mind out there. You just need to be a little bit more open-minded. There's always this tunnel vision going on with people that love what they love, that they aren't able to accept anything else. So with that being said, and I know I'm gonna get hate for this, I think dub is justified. I think there's a community out there of people that love dub, and I don't think that they should be shunned or attacked for liking dub. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments if you guys have any more dub and sub arguments or specific examples of dub being really bad or sub being really good. You guys can get passionate in the comments. Thank you for watching this little episode of mine that I had in mind for a little while. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully you guys liked it, and I'll be sure to put out more in the future. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Be sure to subscribe. I am a very small content creator, and I'm trying to make content out there that hopefully everyone can enjoy. So expect more little videos like this and different types of videos coming out soon. As always guys, my name is Punkik Yoshi. Stay safe. Bye bye. See you next time.